If you enjoy the content on this channel and would like to help me out with the production of more content for this channel, then please consider supporting me on Patreon, link in the description down below. Hello everybody, this is SeetherCord, and welcome to another installment of my furry review/analysis series here on YouTube. For today's episode of Furry Review/Analysis, we're going to be reviewing not a YouTube video, not a shitty music video involving furries either, but we are going to be reviewing a movie. I really hope this doesn't get copyright claimed, oh my god. Today we're going to be reviewing a film entitled Pottersville that was released in November 2017, just recently. It is an American Christmas comedy film starring Michael Shannon and Judy Greer, and it was released by Echo Bridge. The movie is about a guy who comes to this town called Pottersville with the whole town insightful about the fact that there's apparently Bigfoot on the loose. The plot of this movie revolves around a man by the name of Maynard who comes to a town known as Pottersville to investigate sightings of Bigfoot. And for some reason along the lines, there happens to be a furry aspect to this movie as well. I swear there are legit at least 10 minutes of this 90-minute movie focusing solely on furries. And apparently it goes to how this guy named Maynard's wife is cheating on him with a guy who's a sheriff, and the two of them happen to be furries and he just finds out about it. And I'm just here like, what the fuck? And it gets kind of strange when you think about it, because I tried looking at online articles talking about the furry aspect of this movie, and surprisingly, only a few articles really talked about it. And most of them revolved around how the director of this movie pretty much is doing it as kind of a personal life experience. So I don't know if the director of this movie has something against furries, or if his wife had cheated on him with a furry. I don't know. But anyway, today on Seether Talks, we're going to look at the furry scenes involved with this movie, Pottersville. So let's get started, shall we? So the first scene from this movie we're going to look at today is the scene of Maynard coming home to give a gift to his wife when he finds out that his wife is a furry and cheating on him with the sheriff who also happens to be a furry.
Hope you're hungry, because I got a little something special planned for us. Connie, you here? No way. Did she get a puppy? Did we get a puppy?
Maynard!
Connie, what's going on?
What are you doing here?
In my home?
No, I mean now.
I wanted to surprise you.
I'm just gonna take off.
Jack? What's going on?
I can explain this.
You can explain why you're dressed up like a rabbit and having sex with a squirrel?
I'm a wolf.
How long has this been going on?
That's not important, Maynard. What is important is that I'm bored.
Get a hobby. Learn to knit. Do macrame. Are you kidding me?
We don't do anything. We don't go anywhere. I need some excitement in my life.
So instead of talking to me about it, somewhere in your brain, the thing that makes sense is to go out and have sex with a squirrel.
I'm a wolf. Ow! Get it? I mean, it doesn't even make any sense as a squirrel. It's gotta be a wolf.
Jack, we have been friends forever.
I know. And that's why I'm gonna need to ask a favor of you.
Oh, sure thing. Whatever you need, buddy.
You know, I'm kind of a big deal in this town, and don't think it'd be good if people knew I was a furry.
What's a furry?
Furry. It's this club we belong to.
Well, don't 32 other people already know?
No, seriously, Maynard. Okay, I'm gonna need your word on this.
Okay, so let me take a second here to try to wrap my mind around what I just watched here. So apparently, this man's wife is bored of him, so she's just going to cheat on him. And it's interesting how this movie assumes at first that furries are all just about sex, and the first furry character we're introduced to is a cheater. Am I saying that furries never cheat on their spouses? No, I'm not saying that. But I feel like it's kind of implying that there, especially with the overly sexualized aspect of it all. Another thing I want to point out, the rabbit fursuit looks terrible and the wolf fursuit looks alright. I want to also clear that out of the way too. Now, I understand this is a comedy film, and most of the time comedy is supposed to be taken satirically, but I feel like this is kind of just lazy comedy or so, just being like, oh, sex, sex, sex. And I'm not saying that stereotypes can't be funny, it's just I feel like when you push stereotypes too much for humor, it doesn't become funny anymore. Like, come on, you gotta be clever sometimes with your humor. But anyway, the sheriff of this town is obviously a closet furry, and he doesn't want his reputation to be ruined about this, which, again, I can understand a lot of furries being in the closet about their furryisms. But still, it's kind of hard to sympathize with the sheriff here, because he is intentionally letting his friend's wife cheat. We're off to a great start, aren't we? The next scene we're going to watch in this movie is how the Bigfoot hunter and the sheriff are going to encounter the group of furries within the forest.
Gotta film this for my show.
Bart, come on. Oh, hell. Like that.
Welcome to our first annual Squatch Watch Spirit Gathering.
You're what? Oh, no, quit that, lady. Hey, quit that. You people, you have to go. You have to get out of here. Well, do you love him somewhere else? No, still Jack, Cheryl, come over here. Help me. Well, what the hell is one of us?
We're furries.
What the hell's a furry?
A furry is a person. They're people who just happen to like to dress up in furry clothes and rub up against each other. And I'll tell you something else, Bart. I'm a furry, okay? And I'm damn proud of it.
One thing I will give this movie is how they got legitimately well-made fursuits. Not all of them, but legitimately some very well-made fursuits for this group of furries within this movie. Now, definitely by the looks of it, they weren't able to get enough furries to fill up all the spots for the furries within this movie. So they had to make do with getting some shitty prop costumes that they have somewhere stored in a warehouse somewhere. And those do stick out when you see the really good fursuits as well next to them. But still, I will give credit for them getting legit fursuits made by actual fursuit makers for this film. And I can tell they got legitimate fursuits because I recognize some of these fursuits. But to get back to the problems I have with this scene, again, they're overinflating the seriousness of the sexual aspect of the furry fandom. They're still making it out as if furries are only about sex and nothing else. Which honestly, this doesn't surprise me considering this is a very stupid opinion from a really stupid movie. Now, the last scene we're going to look at doesn't necessarily focus on the furries themselves. They're more so seen in the background, but they're still there. And I want to make a little extra comment on not just the furries themselves, but the movie as a whole after we look at this last scene. This last scene is of them finally capturing Bigfoot, and then they find out it was just Maynard in the end who was wearing the Bigfoot suit all along. Why was he wearing it all along? I don't fucking know. I didn't watch the whole movie because I felt like I was going to waste my time by watching this whole movie. Just watching only 10 minutes of this movie, I kind of got a general idea of what the other 80 minutes are going to be like.
Bigfoot!
Maynard! 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 What did you do to him?
I caught him. That's my job, isn't it?
This isn't Bigfoot.
Of course it is.
Is this really what you do for a living? This is Maynard Grieger. He runs the general store. Maynard. Maynard. Shit.
Well, guess what? I am gonna sue Pottersville. Huh? How you like that? That's right. You'll be ruined. Uh-huh. And I don't care if a colony of Bigfoot moves in and build houses and start raising the kids and marching the kids back and forth to school across the square every day and singing karaoke in a karaoke bar. No one's ever gonna say it. Because from now on, Pottersville will be known as a town of fakes and phonies and freaks.
Later, and we could...
I'd love for you to come by tomorrow, Maynard, and pack your stuff and leave. We all just wanted to meet Bigfoot. You made us look like a bunch of idiots.
You okay?
And that was Pottersville, everyone. Now, I do admit I didn't watch the whole movie of this. I only watched the 10 minutes of the actual furry scenes they have within this film. Maybe there's some redeemable factors about the rest of this movie, but this review is only supposed to focus on the furry aspects of it, and based off of all the furry aspects of it, the only redeemable quality about this is the fact that they got legitimate fursuits for this film. But yeah, the problem with this movie is just that when it comes to them having idea for furries, it's just overall just a dumb negative opinion that doesn't make any sense. And it's just, once again, another case of the media having a very shallow perspective of furries. And also, to talk about the rest of the film as a whole, it looks like it was well shot. I will give it that. But however, everyone in this film looks like they don't want to be there. All the actors feel like they have something shoved up their ass. And overall, viewing portions of this film was probably one of the most uncomfortable experiences I've ever had doing research for this series on my channel. I will have to claim that Pottersville is probably the worst thing I've had to review for Furry Review / Analysis on this channel. And that has been this episode of Furry Review / Analysis on my SeetherCord channel. There will be a link in the description to all of the furry scenes from this movie linked down below. If you want to watch this whole movie for yourself, it's on Netflix. It's only an hour and 25 minutes. It's rated PG-13, so if you're under the age of 13, make sure you don't watch it. But no, I'm kidding. Don't watch this movie. It looks really stupid, and it looks like, honestly, a waste of time. But that's just me. If you still want to watch it yourself, if you want to cringe, go for it. And one last thing I will say before we end off this video, I'm sorry if I didn't take it as seriously for this episode of Furry Review / Analysis, but honestly, I don't think there's any real way I can take this seriously, because this film itself doesn't take itself seriously either, and not in a smart way. But that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that like button to further help out my channel, as well as turning on that notification bell, as well as supporting me on Patreon and subscribing to my channel all together as a whole. I've been SeetherCord, and I will see you guys next time. So, goodbye everyone. And remember, do not have sex with a sheriff in a fursuit.
And you were like, yes! I looked up all over it, and the chairs and blah blah blah. And then you got back home, and we were still in the call. You were like, fuck.
It was on the couch.
It was, but it was like this. It was like this. You were like, fuck, I'm gonna have to pay for everything. It's gonna be so expensive, and I'm broke, and blah blah blah, and I wanna die, and then blah, blah. Oh, it's on the couch.
Okay, to be fair, you reacted the exact same way when someone broke into your car.
I'm a wolf. Ow!